Hey, it's Melvin here. Welcome back. It's day 160 of this Growing Grapefruit Trees from Seed series. You can see there's a little bit of leaf damage from snails, which I'll show some footage of later. And during this time period, you'll notice in my other plant growing series that sometimes I do show live snail footage and me trying to brush them off. So that leaf has been eaten clean in half, and this one has been bitten towards the tip, and it's all full of holes, and they leave droppings behind sometimes. It's pretty nasty, and snails carry disease. So I'm thinking about ways in which I can get rid of them. You can see a small shell towards the left here in the background. I'll get a zoom in on that. But for the time being, we're getting a great view of the leaves. The foliage is otherwise healthy if you don't count the parts that have been eaten by snails, and there's a little bit of webbing here and there. This balcony, as I've mentioned before, is infested with spiders, this apartment in general, and you can see it's just open to the outside on the ground floor, so the snails just keep coming over to eat my citrus leaves, and at the same time you can see webbing from spiders. So on day 177, I thought it was time to deal with all of these nasty snails. I procrastinated a lot regarding my plants, and I had 2 moves within the span of 8 months. And I'll talk more about that at the end of this video. So this snail and slug bait contains iron phosphate. The first question that entered my mind was, how does iron phosphate, such a simple organic molecule, kill snails and slugs? So I did a little bit of reading online, and it's not very clear. It seems to have killed these snails within just 2 days. It said that they ingest the bait and then they stop eating, go dormant, stop moving around, and then they just die within a few days. So it seems to be very potent, and that leads to the worry that it may be dangerous for humans or other animals, but I did a little bit of reading, and it doesn't seem like that. It's actually, iron phosphate is a compound that we eat in our foods, so it seems to be completely safe to us, but it's not safe for snails or slugs, which is great. And they also add in EDTA to make it more effective. EDTA is a chemical that I often use in my job, actually, as a molecular biologist. So I'm spraying off these leaves, and I think the snail problem is basically over. I don't have a slug problem. I think slugs don't wander about in San Diego in your yard or garden unless you're spraying every day heavily with sprinklers night after night. So I've seen people's front yards just be infested with snails and slugs, things like that. If they have a lot of water usage, it's really gross. So yeah, this is a very effective bait. I would recommend it based on what I know and how effective it's been. Otherwise, I've been procrastinating about dealing with this problem for so long. You can see the damage there. That yeah, every time I came out on my balcony, it was just covered in webs, and everything was covered in pine needles, leaf detritus. The Peruvian pepper tree was just shedding a bunch of leaves as well. And all these critters just keep coming over because there's plenty of prey for the spiders under the leaf litter, and the snails are basically just marching over relentlessly. Sort of like a tower defense game. They just keep coming and coming until you do something to stop it. So the plants on this balcony haven't been doing very well, and I stayed in this place for 8 months, and the results are kind of disappointing. It's like none of my plants did well. The snails and slugs got this, and my lemon leaves pretty bad, and the other plants just didn't get enough sunlight. This spot is a little bit cool. It's sort of a half basement situation where I'm on the ground floor and it's half buried in the ground basically. So it's very cool, but it's also very damp. So it's day 259. Here's some footage from the day after I moved into a townhouse. So finally my plants will have full sun. This is in the front yard. It's sort of a, I wouldn't say a courtyard, but it's mostly just concrete slabs. But you can see there's vegetation off to the sides that was already there. And I think it's in potting mix, so that's a source of snails definitely, but I haven't seen any in my plants yet. Thanks for watching, and please stay tuned for further updates.